It lets the people know, just like this man, the first lecture I made when he got lectured, was Hitlerianism. Hitler's running all through his speeches, his pattern of behavior. Now the people got lucky here in America. Why did they get lucky? They got lucky because they voted him out. They didn't vote out Adolf Hitler. If they would have left this boy in, the same thing happened to Germany, but not total destruction. But America is facing and have faced the same thing that Germany was facing. Everybody in Europe and everywhere around the world is happy. Hey man, we glad y'all pulled that off. You know, can you tell when you hear the news, the BBC and all that? Hey man, they might be happier than we are. They're happy. The point is, they sending signals and counter signals to each other and everybody that know the history. Now, I want you to just imagine how many Negroes would have put this piece together like we just did tonight. How many? It's too many pieces, you know what I mean, that don't fit. You have to, when you fit them together, you say, that's the face, that's what it looks like. But they ain't got no numbers on the other side, you know, so you can just look on this side, look on it, and pop them down, and you got a picture. You have to have a whole historical process going. And the people would not connect it. Now, everybody don't connect to this, but those people that have a direct line to Nazism and Nazi feeling, right, is sending messages to their friends by making fun, right, of this situation. Yeah, that's all it is. It's not all it is. And just like the song the white lady was singing, that lady, I looked her up a little bit. She did that song many times. A big play. It's one of the big plays. And she was saying in her interview, my voice is still strong enough, you know, she's getting older now, to carry that, hey. The point I'm making about this is that we have a lot to do, and we have a lot of educating to do. Educating. And we have to have a feel of our environment. And I'm going to say some things, and they may not be in order, so kind of overlook it, but I will get the thing said. This is the 21st century. We have to think about 21st century, Allah, the Red Sea, Moses, and his people. Like right now. Now think of what that means. So 21st century, Allah opened up the sea. The Jews believe it, right? The Christians believe it, and the Muslims believe it. Hands down. That's a lot of people. And Musa, bless his heart, he challenged Pharaoh all the time. But let's look at the pattern, and let's see if there's any patterns that fit that. First of all, everybody else was just happy building pyramids, you know, it seemed like they must have been, and they wasn't that worried about it, you know. Well, Pharaoh, that's all right. No big deal. You know, no matter what Pharaoh did, they, although archaeologists deny it, they said, remember in the part where they say, okay, you're going to make bricks without straw, you know. Now they look in the pyramids and they don't find that. They find that everything is there. But what does this mean to us? It means that if you got what's going on right now, you're going to have a lot of faith. And one thing I get from that that song and that stuff like that is unfulfilled dreams. Don't cry for me, Argentina, because I got cancer. She got cancer at a real young age. When you look at it, you see millions of people. I mean, they was ecstatic. Even, on at her tomb, La Tumba Sin Paz, means even in her tomb has not had peace. They used to have a body lying in the state. She was embalmed for a long time. But then the poor guard that was sitting there watching her all that time, he just opened the thing and had sex with the dead body. Yes, he did. And the tomb is raided over and over again. Well, you see, that's those programs. What happened to the cadaver? That's what they say, the body. They've raided the tomb many times. Different political parties. The people cannot stand. First, it was the biggest and first women's liberation movement, decades ahead of time, in South America. And if you had ever lived there, you would see if anybody needed liberating, it would be the women down there. Unless they was fine. If they was fine, it's okay. You get somebody to look out for you, till you get old, and then that's it too. So what this says to us is, like right now, remember we always talk about there's a great song, and each groups of people hear that song in their own language, in their own environment. When you see just the amount of women singing this song and the reverence that they have, you can see that this one choir got 2,000 people in it. So I mean that gives you an idea. And the music is all reverent because the people was reverent for that person. And all the talk and all the things that happened, in the end, she died before the implementation of some of that stuff. She was young, in her 30s, okay. Juan Perón lost the next election or something. He didn't come back till, when I was down there, Juan Perón was back as the leader of Argentina, but not as the dictator. See, he had dictatorial powers. He had big power because of her. Now, he was a general, but his power came from her. The diplomacy, everywhere she went, it was her. Okay. He got married again, and he had a young wife, but she couldn't pull it off like the other one. Well, number one, she had black hair. Well, no, don't worry. So did what's her name have black hair? Eva Perón. She had black hair, but you'll see it on different pictures. She must have dyed it. So Madonna played the part. But you see Madonna in the early, when she was younger, her hair was black. Okay, so, but now down there, just a footnote, rubias are special. When I was in South America, and they would say to me, they would see that a lot of the runners was was white girls. Let's just say what they was. Because the black girls, I would make them, it was prejudice at that time, I would make them the watchers of the white girls. So if we had a plane with 3 white girls on there, it's in those days, it was early, so they say they're carrying 1 kilo apiece. Well, the black girl would not be, she wouldn't be carrying nothing. She'd be watching them, right? So down there, I would be interacting with all these people, and So the brothers, the Colombians, how can you, Anichi, how can you be, So I pointed to a poster, a hippie poster. It had not King, well, that might have been King Kong holding the white lady, and the white lady is hugging him. You know what I mean? Or 76, remember when the white girl is in the water and King Kong picks her up and put her in a hand and he blow dries her, and she's going through all it's clear in those days, because it's clear from all of them, the old King Kong, it's all clear, Beauty and the Beast, that this monkey is a nigger and this is a white woman. And they say the old tribal chief, when they're on Kong Island, whatever it is, a new one, in the 70s. I'll give you, it was 7 or 8 nigger women for that one white lady. I don't know if you remember that. But that's the whole deal. I'll give you 7 of these nigger women for that one white lady. They're easy. Simple as that. But here's the point. With all of these things living in the world that we living in, and the odds of seeing, now you got to remember, everywhere we go, we see the same story. If you're in South Africa, you're looking at the people, they're getting ready to get liberated, they're getting ready to vote for the man Mandela. Everybody's happy, everybody's fired up, and you're looking, and you tell them, I told them in the lectures, you're not going to build no 5 million. Day and see, I said, it ain't going to happen. Why? We done watched every African country. And what's this, Kiku Sele Africa, that beautiful song about Africa, that they sang at all the funerals and the national anthems in South Africa. Yeah, anyway, we know it. We done all heard it a lot. But the South African dream went bust. It went bust. Okay. The Kenyan dream, the great unity, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, the East African Union, they used to call it, all of that went bust. Africa is just starting to put their feet kind of together. Any revolution, the French Revolution, a few days after the French Revolution, they got Robespierre and the guillotine. Do y'all ever read about that in history? Taking people to the guillotine, that thing that chops your head off? Huh? Yeah. At first, yeah. But remember, when that stuff get going, everybody's headed to the guillotine. If you can't run or hide, you going to the guillotine. Robespierre and his boys. What? To the guillotine, because look at Iran. Because a lot of people ask me, do you feel bad about all of what you put into Iran and how things were? I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I said, not only was I doing something good, now remember, every time I get a chance to talk to the people of Iran, I go right into it. Why? Because they are so blessed, but they don't know that. See, a lot of them haven't looked at the whole world history, and you try to find somebody that song came out like they was hearing it in their heart. Where was it at? Nobody else. Only in Iran. Remember, this is over 40 years now, the revolution. It's done suffered at the hands of every kind of fitna you can name. We had a part in managing that. If a couple of people, which they always do, they haven't been able to destroy that. They've been able to destroy everything. And all that greater America the Great, shoot, they had Whiskey Rebellion in 1790 something, George Washington's time. Shays Rebellion. Yeah, they had, because the white folks wanted to, these white folks wanted to charge the poor white folks a whiskey tax. White folks saved their money, like when they got all their stuff together, they would make whiskey. Not that they was all from Ireland and everything, but they made whiskey. And whiskey tided them over. Not only they liked to drink it, you know, they used to call America the Alcoholic Republic. There's a book called The Alcoholic Republic. When you went to court in the old days, you can't do it now. They'd all have a drink, judge have a drink, the defendant have a drink, everybody have a good slug, and then they get down to business, or one or two slugs, then they get down to business. But here's the point. Yeah, half the time in the saloon. Yeah. But you have to look at why we don't feel despondent about some of the things that's going on in Iran, because Iran is still there. They still have everything they planned intact. And they have been under attack all the time, and they're still here. I'm sitting back here ecstatic. The peripheral dummies, my old friends, they just formed a little idea, and they have not been successful. That's why we're not, hey, I used to run all over this country back and forth, and I never have felt like that I didn't make a huge contribution to Islam. In fact, I feel like I made probably more than they did because I spoke English and I could, whip people up a little bit, and of course. But now, go back to the point. Musa was carried across the sea, and Pharaoh was drowned. This is kind of common knowledge. But remember, Musa didn't organize the people till he got across the sea. Does anybody remember that? 70 leaders, and he didn't organize the people. Allah took them other people out. Okay? We might sound crazy saying, yeah, boss man, we just gave you a chance, you passed it up. Look at the pattern that's going on. With all the stuff they've done against us, have they been successful? Absolutely not. We said 2 years ago that we're going to begin to claim, that the benefits from what's going on, that because you did this to us, that's why this, that, and other is happening to you. Does anybody remember that? That's what we have been saying. Do we feel it's true? Of course we feel it's true. Okay. So I want to talk for a minute about our form of resistance, our method of resistance. Discipline to counter effects of the system and the domesticated system. And what is the cost to that system? Okay. We've talked about domesticating the system. We have domesticated the system. Why we domesticated the system? Because the system does stuff to us, but we can hold out longer. Like they want us to sell the property over there. They've been wanting us to sell it for look like 20 years or so. And they do stuff to make us do that. Sometimes they had $11,000 something or other, I don't know if anybody remember, for that property over there. And I said, $11,000. So I said, you got the wrong number. Everything on here is incorrect.